What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of MD After Dark. I'm Michael Hernan here with your boy Andre Tanner as well. Dre, how's your night been going so far?
Pretty good, other than the fact that I lost some money on my parlays, but that's okay because there's always tomorrow. And yeah, we'll make some money tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. The gambling business is always about winning and losing. Alrighty, let's get to our first topic of the day, starting off with the game of the night in the NBA. The Indiana Pacers have defeated the Minnesota Timberwolves 132 to 130 in an incredible overtime showdown. Leading the way for the Pacers was Obi Toppin, who had 34 points and 10 rebounds. Also for the Pacers was Benedict Mathurin, who put up 22 points. The Pacers were without Tyrese Halliburton in this one as well. And then for the Timberwolves, they were led by Anthony Edwards, who put up 38 points for the T-Wolves. Naz Reid scored 21 off the bench, and Dante DiVincenzo had 19 off the bench as well. So, Dre, you look at this game between the Pacers and Timberwolves, what stood out to you about this matchup tonight?
Obi Toppin scoring 34 points. Who would have saw that coming?
Not me.
That's probably a career high, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'd say the same too. And look at the Pacers as well. They were without Tyrese Halliburton, like I mentioned earlier. I believe they were without Miles Turner as well.
Because
And
who was it? Tony Bradley, a name I haven't heard since he played for the Bulls a while ago. He came off the bench and was actually leading them in points in the first quarter. I saw that. He had 8 points and 5 rebounds. And I don't even know if he played after that.
yeah, he finished up with 12 and 9.
That's
That's
solid.
a
Okay. Almost a double-double for not playing in the league barely. All right. We'll take that.
heck yeah. And then also TJ McConnell off the bench. He put up 13 assists.
Hmm He
My
is a
goodness.
he's a mid-range demon. He can surely dish the ball, I can tell you that. How many
Yeah,
points did
13.
Quentin Jackson have?
Quentin Jackson had 13 tonight.
Damn. So that's an all-around game other than Obi Toppin.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that McConnell also had 11. So, anyways, so the Pacers had 8 guys in double digits tonight.
That's the key
Impressive.
to winning. That is the key
Yeah,
to winning.
8 out of 10 total guys that played tonight, and 9 of the 10 scored, and just all around scoring. And plus, even out a night without their 2 best players, getting depth. And the Pacers were definitely shorthanded tonight, and getting that depth and winning in Minnesota too on the road. And Minnesota's been hot recently too. And the Pacers, of course, me being a Bucks fan, that kind of worries me about the Pacers, how much depth they've been having in
Yeah,
this win.
especially against a good team like the Timberwolves. They've been pretty good
Yeah,
lately.
yes, they've been getting really hot, and for the Pacers to go in there and get a huge win, stealing one on the road, that's a big one. And what have you seen from the Timberwolves tonight?
Well, Anthony Edwards had 38. Oh, that's solid. Naz Reid coming off the bench. He's a great piece for them, honestly. He's probably in contention for sixth man of the year, but he has been starting recently because Rudy Gobert's been hurt. But if he was coming off the bench strictly, he could have been in contention for sixth man of the year.
Yeah, it definitely would have been him or Peyton Pritchard for the Celtics. Pritchard has been really good for the Celtics this year. And also, looking at the Timberwolves stat line, of course, I mentioned Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo having 21 and 19 off the bench. Julius Randle had 17 points tonight. Hit a solid night. Jaden McDaniels had 13. The main difference to me is that the Pacers had 8 guys in double digits, meanwhile the Timberwolves just had 5. But, oh, yeah, overall, the Timberwolves had some good bench scoring as well tonight. And yeah, overall, both these teams have some really good depth as well. So, That's it for the game of the night. The Pacers. Oh, I forgot to mention, Obi Toppin made a go-ahead three with 3.1 seconds left. That's how the Pacers would win the game. So Obi Toppin, the MVP of the night, hitting the game-winning three there. So that's all for Pacers and Timberwolves. That was the game of the night. Pacers again winning 132 to 130 in overtime. The Pacers improved to 38 and 29 and are now tied fourth in the Eastern Conference with the Milwaukee Bucks. That scares me a little bit. And the Timberwolves, they drop to 40 and 30 on the year. All right, Dre, what do we got for our next topic?
Hmm. Well, I just want to mention that I just logged into Underdog on my school Chromebook, so that's pretty fun. I didn't even know I could do that. But
Bet.
hmm, I think we should skip to the Tokyo series again. We were discussing that earlier. I mean, it's a bit early. Hey, the game only starts in 5 hours. That's only 5 hours of staying awake. I could do my draft class.
Yeah, at the time of recording, it is currently 11:52 p.m. We are kind of nuts about that, but yeah, it's empty after dark, you
Hey,
know.
we're sacrificing our sleep to get people information out there. We're on the grind.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So again, the Tokyo series between the Dodgers and Cubs, again, the first pitch is at 5:10 in the morning. Oh boy, that is that is an
That's
early
early.
start.
That is early.
Early st- Early start, but I'll find a way to make that happen.
I'm gonna be
Again, the
awake. You better bet I'm gonna be awake.
Yeah, you're lucky you don't have school tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So, anyways, the Dodgers and Cubs do play each other in Tokyo. Projected starters for the Dodgers is Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking on Shota Imanaga from the Cubs, two Japanese former born players. See that tickets are as low, the lowest ticket price is like $1,791.
They're making bank off of that game.
Yes, making bank indeed. And also, just got coming news from the Dodgers that Mookie Betts will not be able to go for the Tokyo series due to an illness. So, Dre, let me ask you, how does Mookie Betts not being in the Dodgers lineup for the Tokyo series impact the Dodgers?
Well, your leadoff hitter's gone now. Well, that's good. So now you have to insert. I mean, they have so much depth either way, but like now they have to insert like Miguel Rojas or Austin Barnes in their lineup and have somebody else in there. And that's just good for anything, replacing a all-star MVP type player with Miguel Rojas. So that's automatically a positive. But you also have to think that the Cubs don't have Nico Horner at the moment, and that's Matt Shaw's spot now. I'm pretty sure he will be playing third, third or second. I don't know. Oh, John Birdie will be starting at second. So yeah, Matt Shaw will be at third.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I just looked up my computer and I see Seiya Suzuki is taking batting practice with a samurai sword. That that
Yeah, that was
that
pretty
is it.
funny. I watched that for the first time.
Jeez. That I have no idea where Seiya Suzuki got that samurai sword, but
He was
well,
from Japan. Obviously, he's
I
gonna have a samurai sword, a katana.
I guess that makes sense.
All right, hang on. All right, say hi to Diddy because obviously she wants all the attention. So, all right, now I gotta put her out because she's being a little bit obnoxious. Allie, go. Good girl. All right, we're back. That was quick.
And
She listened.
that that was the Diddy break there,
Yeah,
or
literally.
Allie. Name's
Yeah,
Allie, but we like to call it Diddy around here for some reason.
the Diddy
So
party.
for real.
Whew.
So continuing on the Dodgers and Cubs series, of course, the Cubs are going to be without Nico Horner, as you said. How do you think that will impact the Cubs?
Well, again, obviously, Ian Happ is not a leadoff hitter, so you're losing a middle of the order bat that can make contact, move runners over, get base hits. But then, so you're gonna have to replace him with uh, mediocre bat in Vidal Brujan or John Birdie. And he's also a gold glove defender, so you're losing that as well. And it's like, obviously, both of those injuries for each team are negative. So I think both teams are going to play pretty well. They also could play really bad, which is why I could see the pitchers dominating this series because, uh, like the batters might not be used to playing there, which is also why I think the Dodgers could end up sweeping this series. But like I predicted yesterday, I see it being a split.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I noticed about international series is that it's either going to be a bombshell where they're, the hitters are just going to go off, home runs after home runs, runs scored, or it's just going to be a pitcher's duel. There's literally no in between when it comes to these series, and that's what makes it fun because for whatever reason, the stars shine when it comes to international players, and like guys like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roi Sasaki, Shohei Ohtani, Shota Imanaga, and Seiya Suzuki, like this series is going to mean so much to them because playing
Mm-hmm.
in their home country, like we've discussed in yesterday's episode. So, how does bringing this Tokyo series bringing baseball over to Japan to play in the Tokyo series, how do you think that will help grow the game over there in Japan?
It's already huge. Like you see, like these 6'5" Shohei Ohtani built guys in Japanese high schools hitting 40 home runs, then moving to the United States and hitting 30 home runs in a metal bat college league. And it's like
It's
it, it's good. It's good for everybody. You're expanding the sport. You're getting more people that want to play it. It grows popularity. You make more money, and then the Dodgers get to spend more money, and then they win the World Series again.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? But as people tend to forget, in 2022, Japan did win the World Baseball Classic. So the next one will be in 2026. We'll see if Japan can repeat as World Baseball Classic champions. So yeah, baseball's not already huge in Japan. I mean, it just might get bigger with this Tokyo series. So any final thoughts about the Tokyo series before we wrap up?
I mean, no, that's what I got. I mean, I could kind of think about betting on Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run, but I really don't want to see him hit a home run at 5 o'clock in the morning, if I'm being honest.
That is foreshadowing for the latter half of the show when we get to our underdog segments. Foreshadowing in this early episode 2 here. All right, let's get to some NFL news. So, we forgot to mention yesterday's episode, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have both agreed to 4-year extensions with the Cincinnati Bengals. So big time signings there for both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and for the Cincinnati Bengals franchise. Let's take a look at the contract details. Jamar Chase signed a record 4-year, $161 million deal, which is the most by a non-QB in NFL history, I believe. And T. Higgins has agreed to a 4-year, $115 million deal that is guaranteed for the first 2 years of Higgins' contract. Anyways, Jamar Chase has $112 million guaranteed in his contract. So Jamar Chase is making $40 million a year, which again is an NFL record for the highest average annual salary for a non-quarterback. So, Dre, I want to get your opinion on this. What does Jamar Chase and T. Higgins extensions mean for the Cincinnati Bengals and overall means for the wide receiver market?
I mean, they're in win now mode. Now that they have those two solidified, I mean, they got to just draft defense during the draft, if I'm being honest. The wide receiver, wide receiver market, it's going to get inflated. I mean, Jamar Chase, obviously, you could say he's a top 1, 2 receiver with Justin Jefferson, but there's a lot of people, a lot of GMs that don't think that, especially for the down year he had before last year. So, I mean, you could see a lot of mediocre receivers getting way too much money, and that's why I'm glad the Bears they got a slot receiver, Olamide Zacchaeus, from the Commanders for really cheap, and they've been looking at Rondale Moore, and I would love a four receiver room with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and those two. I mean, it's underrated signings, but you just got to do what you got to do to win. And I think there are a lot of good underrated players in the league, and a lot of teams. There's a lot of people that are valuable.
Yeah, especially when you say the Bears are making moves when they already made a lot of moves. That's scary, especially how much the Bears really improved the offensive line. Anyways, so now with the Bengals locking up Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, what does this mean with Trey Hendrickson now?
I think that they will trade him during the draft. They will probably get a top 15 pick from a team that is willing to get an elite edge rusher, sign him to a long term contract, and then they will draft either his replacement or they will draft an offensive lineman.
Yeah, but
That's
the
what I
question
think.
is, do you think the Bengals can get a defensive end in the draft as good as Trey Hendrickson?
I don't think they have to, honestly. I mean, you obviously have Jack Sawyer, Prince Human Mylan, uh, Brandon. I don't know. I don't remember how to say his last name from Boston College. Mike Green from Marshall. If they could get an early second round pick and a late to mid first round pick for him, take an offensive lineman and get Mike Green, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. If people watched Mike Green during the Senior Bowl, whew, he was manhandling offensive linemen. So go back and watch his highlights from the Senior Bowl. He was manhandling Emory Jones from LSU. It was a fun thing to watch, and it got me excited as a Bears fan before they made all these moves for offensive linemen that we could draft a guy like that in the second round, but now his draft stock is so good, he could go late in the first round. Now the Eagles are going to end up with him now that they lost Josh Sweat, and now they're going to go back to back, and it's like, you just hate to see it. Like, there's so many good prospects that, like, you hate to see, like, the Chiefs or the Eagles going out there and drafting somebody that is going to be a Pro Bowler or All Pro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially look at the Eagles. They got so many steals, especially with the Georgia picks. Like, how does Jalen Carter fall in their laps? Like, it's
Well, that was the
crazy.
Bears' fault. That was the Bears' fault. They traded back one pick and got a fourth round pick that they used to trade for Keenan Allen, and they took Darnell Wright, which I still think was the wrong decision.
That, yeah, that is very interesting. Howie Roseman loves to cook up these late first round pick draft selections. So, anyways, back to Trey Hendrickson. I think that's a very interesting take about the Bengals going for the draft, especially when like defensively they need everything. They need
Mm-hmm.
everything defensively. Like they got torched a lot, especially by the Steelers. Like usually the Steelers, I know they were getting kind of hot, but at the time, but like looking back when the Steelers kind of fizzled out a little bit, them dropping like 40 points, it's kind of an issue. And you know all the memes about, oh, Joe Burrow throws for 600 passing yards and throws for say 7 touchdown passes in a losing effort, 52 to
Yeah.
55 or something like that. But anyways, yeah, the Bengals really need to get some defense in order to keep the Super Bowl window open for them. So my question is now for Trey Hendrickson. Where do you see a good destination for Trey Hendrickson?
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, obviously the Bears, but it's not realistic anymore because they don't have the draft space anymore now, or draft space, cap space now that they signed those offensive linemen. Um, I don't
What
really
about
know, honestly.
what about older brother up north?
Tra- what, Green Bay?
Yes.
Who's his
Please.
brother?
No, let's talk about the Packers. Older brother, like the Packers and Bears siblings.
How?
I
Shut
don't
up,
know.
Michael. Shut up, Michael. Yo, hold on. Wait, hold on. Didn't the Packers just lose to the Bears? Wait,
All
didn't you
right,
guys get?
all right,
Yeah. Wait, how
all
many
right, all
games
right.
in a row was it that we broke the streak? Caleb Williams is 1-0 at Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers ain't
Okay,
there no more. Aaron Rodgers, you guys were one blocked field goal away from going winless in the NFC North. You had as many NFC North wins as the Chicago Bears, who won 5 games. I don't want to hear it out of you. You just wait until the season starts. The
okay,
Bears could
all
go.
right.
The Bears could go 2-15 and only beat the Packers, and I wouldn't care.
Solid point.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so same age. Okay, so same age up north. So I'm thinking about the yeah. So I'm thinking about the Packers. Like they need a
I mean,
defensive end, but
who would they give up though? I mean, they'd have to give up their first round pick and probably Lucas Van Ness.
yes, and plus, I don't think I don't think Brian Gutekunst is able to make that move. Like he
Mm-mm.
doesn't usually go for splash picks like that. But I mean, the
Like how the
Packers. I mean,
Packers said
also
they're gonna get DK Metcalf.
if we didn't get him. Yeah, but I'm saying like the Packers would be a good fit. But the thing is, I don't think Gutekunst is gonna make that move. But realistically speaking, I could see the Commanders trying to go for him.
Yes,
I know.
that okay. I wasn't thinking about them, but that's a good fit.
Yeah, I think the Commanders, of course, like with this, their Super Bowl window is right now. I'm thinking the Commanders try to get the Super Bowl before Jaden Daniels' rookie contract expires. So then they have to get an extension, which then they have to pay him a lot of money. So while Jaden Daniels is still in this rookie contract, go win right now before you
Mm-hmm.
have to pay him. Because look at the 49ers, what's happening with the 49ers. Sure, Purdy's still in his rookie contract, but Purdy's going to get paid real soon. And the 49ers are devastated, just facing devastation because of that, losing so many key free agents. It is just ridiculous, like how much the 49ers are just hemorrhaging in players right now
Literally.
and in cap space. Yeah, it's kind of bad over there in the Bay Area. But anyways, I would love to see Trey Hendrickson in the Washington Commanders uniform. I would love to see if Trey Hendrickson gets traded to the Commanders. I think the Eagles they got business there in the
I'm listening.
NFC.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I see you. I see you. So yeah, I really like Hendrickson to the Commanders. I think it'd be a very good fit. Any last remarks about Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, or Trey Hendrickson? Somehow we got Trey Hendrickson into this
No,
topic.
that makes sense to get him involved because it's the Bengals, and obviously, um, he just doesn't want to be there, especially after Sam Hubbard just retired. He doesn't have any help on that D line. I mean, they did draft a guy. I don't remember his name, but he was out of Michigan. I'm pretty sure he didn't really step up to expectations his rookie year. But I think that if they trade him, get him out of that contract, get a young piece or two, they could. I mean, you just gotta build that defense piece by piece before next year. And if you could get Joe Burrow some help, like you already did on the offensive side with extending those two, they could be back in the contention for the AFC North. And it's always a dogfight there. Like Steelers, Browns, heck, they could. Who did they just sign?
Browns
They just no, they traded for they just traded Dorian Thompson Robinson for somebody.
or Kenny Pickett.
Oh, never mind. Oh, oh man. Just because he won a Super Bowl and played like 5 snaps at the end doesn't mean he's your starting quarterback.
I
Oh,
that trade right there has got to be like the most meh trade ever. Like you're just
literally,
swapping backup quarterbacks.
like
Oh, is
Dorian
it? Oh,
Thompson Robinson, he was amazing at UCLA, and then his game just didn't translate to the NFL. Honestly, that's the only reason why he hasn't been succeeding. And he also played for the Browns. Now watch. Now Jalen Hurts he plays very similar to Jalen Hurts. Versatile running quarterback. Short accuracy is pretty good. Not super elite with the deep ball, but Jalen Hurts has been getting better. I just feel like if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, that Dorian Thompson-Robinson will probably fit in much better with their scheme than Kenny Pickett did. And I think that's probably a good pickup compared to what the Browns got.
So you're saying that Jalen Hurts gets hurt, no pun intended. You think it's going to be a Nick Foles 2.0 maybe?
I'm not saying that. Like, if if Jalen Hurts gets hurt, said it like 4 times now, long term, Dorian Thompson-Robinson isn't going to take them to the promised land. But I think he will be very serviceable in replacement of him.
Yeah, that's at the end of the day, that's what backup quarterbacks are supposed to be. Just play serviceable QB play until the starter eventually returns. So very interesting. And plus, back to the Browns, they extended Myles Garrett after he
That
wanted out.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of
That's
big.
seriously, he just wanted money. He just wanted money.
I guess use a power move to get money. That works too. And plus, you look at the Browns. I mean, they still have a very good defense. The thing is now is QB play. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson is out for another year. Jameis Winston is a free agent. So the question is, who are they going to get? Are they going to could they get in the Russell Wilson sweepstakes? Could they get a QB in the draft with that number 2 overall pick? Could they, if Cam Robinson falls into their lap, do they take him or do they take Shador? And
Cam Robinson.
Cam Ward. My Cam Robinson is the offensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings. Jeez.
Now, see, like yesterday I said that you said Texas A&M and you actually said Texas Tech. That one I wasn't tripping. I know you said Cam Robinson there.
Yeah,
And
I probably said Cam.
if I watch the video again and you said Cam Ward, I'm gonna freak out. There's no way.
The tripping
No,
would.
I mean, if you're the Titans, you still have to go Abdul Carter at 1. I mean, even though he's having foot surgery, no, he isn't required to get surgery.
He's
So
not.
I don't think so. I think that's what I read. But I mean, like generational edge talent. That sounded weird, but you know what I mean.
Pause. Yeah.
He's a phenomenal athlete. I mean, just watching him play up until they got booted out of the college football playoffs, he was just terrorizing the tackles on the teams that he played.
Yeah, Abdul Carter. He kind of looked like Micah Parsons. There's something special about that number 11 jersey on Penn State as an edge rusher. Like,
Whew.
wow.
I mean,
Wow.
if the Titans can get a Micah Parsons 2.0, I mean, they've been struggling though. They got rid of Harold Landry. That'll be an okay pickup for somebody else, but like they're just struggling all around as a team. But I feel like if they get Abdul Carter, they have something to build around.
Yeah, and do you still have faith in Will Levis?
No, you have to get a quarterback late in the draft. I don't care if it's Dylan Gabriel is the only quarterback I would tell them not to draft. He's 24. You are not drafting a 24-year-old rookie. Trade up, get Abdul Carter. If not Will Levis, if Jackson Dart is around in the second round, trade up and get him now. If the Seahawks pass up on him, the Steelers pass up on him with their second round picks, you have to trade for him now. Like, that would be the start. And then you got to bring in a serviceable receiver because Westbrook and Keeney is a free agent now, I'm pretty sure.
Same as Calvin Ridley, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Whew. They got Tony.
Boy,
Okay, they have Tyjae Spears. He's been a great draft late round pick from Tulane. I watched him at Tulane when they played Caleb Williams 2 years ago, and he was just elite. So the Titans got a steal with him. Yeah.
That was an awesome Cotton Bowl. Remember getting home from school that day was a junior year and just sitting down and watching the Cotton Bowl. Dude, that was electric. That was awesome. So back to the Titans. So do you think Will Levis has another year starting if they go for Jackson Dart?
Yes and no. If they do end up getting Jackson Dart, which I still think Seattle should draft him, even though they signed Sam Darnold and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the one team that should get him. Like, should. But
Yeah.
if the Titans do end up with Jackson Dart or like a Will Howard was actually pretty solid during the combine. I wouldn't be mad at them taking him in the fourth or fifth round. But, I mean, third round pick maybe if other teams value him that much. I mean, honestly, if a team wants Will Howard, you're like calling around like we're gonna take him, and you could get a higher pick next year. Maybe take it, but Will Howard and Jackson Dart were the two best looking quarterbacks in the combine. And don't trip on Shadur Sanders and Jalen Milroe. They're both going to be great quarterbacks, great athletes, probably better athletes than they are quarterbacks. But I just like Jackson Dart, Will Howard better. So yes,
Yeah.
I do think Will Levis will start, even if they draft Jackson Dart.
But then does Levis get benched?
Depends on how they play. It's like who knows? Maybe they end up with a stacked offensive line with Peter Skoronski, Northwestern legend, by the way. Um, J.C. Latham struggled his rookie year, but other than that, I mean, if you can run to that side and they can pancake some guys, get the run game going, sign a mediocre receiver to throw in with Will Levis and Jackson Dart, maybe you just bench Will Levis if you guys are doing bad, but if you guys are doing good, stick with him.
Yeah, that I think that'd be interesting because if you get a rookie quarterback, maybe that might get some fire under Will Levis's belt, and maybe that can
Mm-hmm.
get him going. Maybe that's what Levis needs, or maybe just might need to change the scenery, or who knows about Will Levis. But anyways, any final thoughts? Any more before we get to our next topic?
Hmm. Colts shouldn't give up on Anthony Richardson just yet. We won't get into that now, but around the draft, I think we should talk about that a little bit more.
All right, another story for another day about Anthony Richardson. Tune in for that in April. Draft coverage. It's going to be electric. All right. From the gridiron to the hardwood. We're going to talk about the NBA now. We had a busy night in the NBA. 10 total games happened tonight. We had some blowouts and we had some close ones. It was a good night in the NBA overall. First, starting off with the Knicks defeating the Heat tonight, 116-95. How about this stat line for Josh Hart? He recorded a triple-double, 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 11 assists. Which is an impressive night for Josh Hart. Duncan Robinson led the Heat with 22 points. And then a contender for game of the day, the Rockets defeated the 76ers 144-137 in overtime. Jalen Green led the Rockets with 30 points, 13 assists, and 7 rebounds. And leading the 76ers, how about Quentin Grimes? 46 points and 13 rebounds. My goodness, we might have to have a potential talk about this. Could he be a potential franchise player with Tyrese Maxey? We might have to have a talk about that later. Anyways, we talked about the Pacers being the Timberwolves, 132-130 in overtime. And we mentioned that Obi Toppin had 34 points and 10 rebounds, including the game-winning 3 at the end. And Anthony Edwards at 38 points as well. And the Pistons dismantled the Pelicans, 127-81. Cade Cunningham had 24 points and 8 rebounds, and Zion Williamson had 30 points and 6 rebounds. There is some tragic news for the Pelicans. We will get to that later. The Bulls defeated the Jazz 111-97. Your Chicago Bulls, Dre.
Won 5 out of their last 6. Looking good. Gonna get that play-in spot just to lose.
Yeah, Bulls for some reason like to do that. But as a Bucks fan, I should not be speaking. We like to get out in the first round too. So, anyways, Trey Jones. What a night that Trey Jones had for the Bulls, having 18 points, 12 assists, 3 steals.
Of course, the
Defensive
one
player.
night I bet on him goes over when I say he's gonna go under. Shouldn't have doubted him. I'm down to $16 in my underdog account. That ain't good. But we got some MLB picks for you guys later.
Stay tuned. Yeah, and then Bryce Sensabaugh led the Jazz with 13 points and 6 rebounds.
Is he
And
the
then the
guy from
game,
Ohio State?
yes.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and then the game we watched together, the Nuggets defeated the Warriors 114 to 105. Aaron Gordon, 38
Yeah.
points and
Whew.
6 rebounds, leading the way in a Nuggets team that was very limited tonight. And then Jimmy Butler led the way for the Warriors with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Suns dismantled the Raptors 129 to 89. Devin Booker having 27 points and 6 assists for the Suns. And Emmanuel Quickley having 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists for the Toronto Raptors. The Kings defeated the Grizzlies 132 to 122. How about this? Malik Monk with 28 points and 7 assists. And Desmond Bane in a losing effort, 44 points and 7 rebounds. We'll get to him in a moment as well. Dre will have more on him with that. And then the Trailblazers took care of the Wizards 112 to 97. And Fernie Simons having 30 points for the Trailblazers. Meanwhile, Alex Sarr leading the Wizards with 20 points. And then the final game of the night, a game rescheduled from the LA Wildfires. The Lakers defeated the Spurs 125 to 109. Austin Reeves leading the way with 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. And leading the Spurs, Stephon Castle with 23 points and 8 rebounds. So a lot of NBA action, I told you there. So Dre, what was your biggest pickup from tonight?
I mean, Quentin Grimes has been on a heater, obviously. Like 40, what, 6 you said?
46. And he also had
Yeah.
13 assists.
13
Or
rebounds,
13,
right?
13
Yeah, yeah,
rebounds.
yeah,
13
yeah.
rebounds, yeah.
I mean, Desmond Bane, obviously 44 points. Those are just two amazing performances.
In
There
losing
was one
efforts, too.
more, right? Yeah, they both lost, which is surprising. There was one more really good. I swear somebody else had 40. Maybe not.
Uh,
Um, I know Jalen Green had 30 and 13. They ended up losing. No, they ended up winning, right?
winning.
The
Yeah, they beat
Rockets?
the Sixers. The Sixers. Yeah, the Rockets beating the Sixers.
Yeah, because I told Michael I was watching the game on my phone on CBS, and I bet on him. I'm like, oh, he's got a technical foul. He's going to go off now. He was at 9 points, and he ended with 30 points and 13 assists. Like, yeah, I was right. But
It's it's crazy how technical fouls impact players' performance. It's
it
crazy.
it lights a fire under them because sometimes they're bad calls, and then they get mad, and then they just go crazy. But yeah. But then Pelicans getting dismantled, and we'll talk about the injury that they sustained.
Let's talk about this right now. Trey Murphy III is out for the season after suffering a torn labrum in his right shoulder. Again, he's going to go season-ending surgery with that, so he is out for the rest of the season. So Dre, of course, the Pelicans. Boy, if we thought it couldn't get any worse,
Mm-hmm.
now we get Trey Murphy, who has been a rising star for the Pelicans, out for the season. What does this mean for the Pelicans?
I mean, what does this say to about Zion? Like he's been playing great. Like he gets healthy, he beats all of the allegations to where he's eating and overweight, and then all of his teammates get hurt, and everybody else just starts to suck. And like you get a good player, you invest Misi in the second round, or maybe he was an early pick out of Baylor. But other than that, Zion and him, they have no help. CJ McCollum's old. He has not been playing to his high level. But
Potential.
yeah, it's just a struggle. Them, the Raptors, they've been struggling with injuries too. They they had Garrett Temple, 38-year-old Garrett Temple was playing today.
Wow. Garrett
It's like,
Temple is still in the league?
yeah,
That is
crazy.
crazy.
I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of takeaways from tonight. the more I just look at all the games, it's like you see the Nuggets win without Jokic or Jamal Murray. Jalen Pickett was chucking up bricks the backboard. Russell Westbrook had his season high in assists. I mean,
Well, speaking of
uh,
Russell Westbrook, Westbrook had 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 16 assists.
he had
A
a triple double.
triple double. Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's in his
Back to
prime.
OKC. Yeah, back to OKC form tonight.
But I mean, it's just like a lot of takeaways. Alex Sarr leading the Wizards. I mean, I like their core. If they could develop AJ Johnson and Alex Sarr, that will be a good start. And also, I did not even give enough flowers to the Trailblazers. I didn't even mention that they have Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's brother, twin brother. They have Denny Avdia, who's been playing great ball lately. And then there was one more guy.
Donovan
Forgot his. I mean, yeah, also Donovan Cling. I mean,
Scoot
Duop Reith had 15 points today, but he's not really a young guy. They didn't even have
to
Tumani
Monty.
Kamara. He was
Yeah.
hurt today. But I mean, it's just like,
Shaden Sharp.
it's just Shaden Sharp. Yes, that's who it was. I didn't even mention him yesterday. I mean, he is an athlete. That's all I can say. He dunks on people and it's fun to watch. I mean, like we said yesterday, Trailblazers will be a team to watch in the future.
Yeah, especially a lot of vibes about how the Rockets were last year, and maybe we could see the Trailblazers next year become what the Rockets were, what the Rockets are doing this year. So something to keep your eyes out. And yeah, just a lot of takeaways from this NBA night. And yeah, anything else about? Oh yeah, so what we will be doing now is we're gonna pick out a player of the night as
Okay.
Dre spotted out a really good player from tonight. And Dre, who is that player?
I would love to give it to Quentin Grimes, but Desmond Bain shot almost 50% from the field, and I'm pretty sure he was a perfect 7 for 7 for the 3-point line tonight with 44 points. Can you confirm that for me?
Let's take a look at the box score here. Desmond Bain, 7 for 7 from the three
Yep,
point line.
that's all you
Seven for
need.
seven, 7 for 7 from the free throw line too.
That's just great efficiency. I mean, yeah, that's just phenomenal. So I got to give it to Desmond Bain. Obviously, 46 points. That's two more points from Quentin Grimes. How many turnovers did Desmond Bain have? Does it show?
Oh, he had 4.
Yeah, Quentin Grimes had more. I can already tell that because I was watching the box score of when those two teams were playing, and it was just like Quentin Grimes 3-pointer, Quentin Grimes turnover, Quentin Grimes 2-point mid range jump shot, and it was just back and forth. But I will give it to Desmond Bain.
Yeah, and another thing I want to touch on. So I want to go back to the Nuggets and Warriors game. That was the game we were watching together. And what were the takeaways from that game that you saw? Of course, you saw Aaron Gordon went off. Russell Westbrook had a triple double. You talked about the Nuggets. They're short-handed tonight. What have you saw for the Warriors tonight?
They struggled from the 3-point line, if I'm being honest. I mean, the Nuggets, I mean, they just had a bunch of young, hungry guys out there that wanted playing time, and they were just hauling on the Warriors and keeping them away from the 3-point line. Obviously, Curry's going to have his 3 or 4 3-pointers a game, but they covered everybody else pretty well. Gary Payton had a very solid game. I saw he was like 7 for 9, what I last saw, with 18 points.
Yeah, he got 18 points off the bench.
Yeah. But other than that, there ain't really any other takeaways. I mean, they played without with Brandon Podchemsky. Kaminga always plays good.
He got
Other
13
than
points
that,
off the bench.
yeah, other than that, that's all I really got. Oh, they don't have Trace Jackson Davis either. But yeah, I mean, it was a really solid showing for the Nuggets for how much to show the league how much depth they have, and they have a bunch of young guys that want to get out there and play. And I mean, that just shows you how deadly they can be without the league MVP, should be, and a very good point guard.
Yeah, so this Nuggets team that went into Golden State, who was very hot this time, without Jokic, without Murray, does this set, like the Nuggets set a statement tonight in Golden State about the rest of the league that they can compete with OKC when fully healthy.
Oh, 100%. That ended the Warriors 7 game win streak, and playing in Golden State is not an easy place to play, obviously. When that place gets loud, it gets loud, especially when Curry's going off.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't know. They just struggled tonight. The Nuggets had a statement win, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
yeah, and one thing I took away from this game is that Steph Curry had 7 turnovers. Steph
Yeah.
Curry was not taking care of the basketball tonight. I mean, there was some times where he had some good passes, but it just felt like when he threw the ball, like it was a lot of turnovers from Curry tonight. It didn't look like he he was like his veteran presence. Again, like a veteran like Stephen Curry, like a guy that's been there, done that, one of the greatest. Like you don't really expect him to have that many mistakes tonight. But anyways, it does happen. You do get bad games like that. But anyways, that will do it for the Nuggets and Warriors. I just want to touch on that. Dre, do you have anything else before we head to our next topic?
I think we touched on everything. We had player of the night, talked about the good matchups that went on, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, let's get to our next segment. We're kind of running out of time a little bit. We got very short time. We've been talking about a lot of NFL, a lot of NBA. So next we'll go from the hardwood to the ice. We only had 5 NHL games tonight. Not that much action, but we had some NHL action tonight. The Sabres defeated the Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Alex Tuck had a goal in that game. Meanwhile, for the Bruins, the big star for the Bruins tonight was Morgan Geekie, who had a goal and assists. And Owen Power had a goal and 2 assists as well for the Sabres. So boy, the Bruins keep slumping. My goodness, this thing's going bad in Boston. Meanwhile, the Lightning's defeated the Flyers 2-0. Andrei Vasilevsky had 21 saves in a shutout performance. Meanwhile, leading the way for the Flyers was Ivan Fedotov, the goaltender in net. He had 21 saves on the night as well, but allowing those 2 goals. And Nikita Kucherov had the goal and assist, leading the Lightning in scoring. Meanwhile, the Devils defeated the Blue Jackets 2-1. Leading the way for the Devils was Jake Allen, who was the goaltender for the Devils tonight. He put up 45 saves and an incredible only
Dang.
allowing 1 goal. It's just an impressive performance from him tonight. And then Timo Meyer for the Devils having a goal himself. And then leading the way for the Blue Jackets, scoring the only goal of the night, was Matthew Oliver, who had a goal there. And then meanwhile, in Toronto, an absolute beatdown. The Maple Leafs, looks like they were wearing their St. Patrick's Day uniforms. That is interesting. Defeating the Flames 6-2. Austin Matthews, what a night he had. 2 goals and assists. William Nylander had a goal and 2 assists. And Max Domi, he had a goal and assist. So big night for the Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
And of course, my Minnesota Wild, they get a huge win against the Los Angeles Kings tonight, 3-1. We snapped a 5-game losing streak of the Los Angeles Kings. Ryan Hartman for the Wild had the goal and assists. Brock Faber, great defensive performance from him tonight. And then in net, Philip Gustafson had 28 saves tonight. So that's a big win for the Minnesota Wild. We're looking, especially when Darcy Kemper for the Kings was playing as well as he had. So Dre, just want to get a quick opinion for yours. What are your thoughts overall about this NHL night?
I mean, of course, the one guy we bet on doesn't even take a shot all night, and his team
Yeah,
loses
Donovan
6 to
Mitchell.
2. But we'll get to that in a
That-
second. But other than that,
That's
that's really all I
that's
got.
that's my bad. That is my bad.
Now
I'll
we'll
take
talk.
the
We'll
blame.
talk about that in our next segment. Don't worry. We got.
Yeah, we will. We will talk about that. So again, just a short recap of the NHL segment. And before we get to our underdog segment, I just want to highlight something about this weird thing that is going on in college basketball right now. So if you have not heard about what is going on, so West Virginia's governor has just threatened legal action over the NCAA tournament selection after they did not get in over North Carolina. So, Dre, just a quick thought on this. What's going on?
That's too far. I mean, at this point, like we were talking about it yesterday, how like I thought Boise State could have made it, or there was multiple other teams that could have made it in over them. But it's just like just play in the NIT or something. It's not that big of a deal. Like West Virginia is not a powerhouse, but they're also not a team that's not going to get any recruits. If you get good recruits, you can have another chance next year. Get a good transfer.
Yeah, and agreed. And plus, you got the new college basketball crown tournament too that they could also participate. But my thing is like you don't see Boise State or like any of those teams. But like I don't know, it's just like the first time I've seen this happen. Like I don't get it, but like it's just something silly. I mean, this is a silly thing. I think West Virginia thought they had high ambitions in the NCAA tournament, but then that just failed. But anyways, that's just the funny, weird thing that's going on in the sports world. So now, let's get to our underdog segment. Dre, do you have some picks for us for tomorrow?
I do. I do. I also just want to say, we are sorry for our poor picks. Um, we didn't really take our picks from last night's episode, but if you guys want to listen,
I did.
you can take our picks for what we're going to say tonight. But on our TikTok, Trey Jones did end up going over 7.5 assists, as you saw or heard from us. And what was your guys' name? Jonathan what?
Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah, he didn't even take a shot all night for Calgary.
Yeah, that is
So
my bad.
yeah, I mean it's no big deal. Obviously, we've been cold and then we were hot and then we were cold again. But I have a few picks. So I personally, since I'm a Cubs fan, you can call me biased, but here's a few picks I have. So Pete Crow Armstrong making his first opening day start. Technically, I think if he gets on base, the Cubs are going to be moving. And Will Smith isn't a perfect with catcher with a cannon. So I have for my first parlay, I have Yoshinobu Yamamoto higher than 14.5 pitching outs and Pete Crow Armstrong with a stolen base. My second parlay also involves Pete Crow Armstrong, but I do have Matt Shaw getting higher than one total base. I do believe that he will get his first major league hit tomorrow. And then we talked about Mookie Betts being hurt earlier. I took Miguel Rojas for lower than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then I took Pete Crow Armstrong higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Because, like I said, if Pete Crow Armstrong gets on base and he's stealing, he's going to get home. If somebody can knock him in, that'd be perfect. But other than that, um, this is another good pick I have. I would go James Harden for over 23 points against the against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cam Johnson for over 17.5 points against the Boston Celtics. He had 23 against them on the 15th. And then Nick Claxton for lower than 7.5 rebounds. He had 6 against Atlanta. He had 14 against the Bulls. Obviously, everybody's good at rebounding against the Bulls. But against Boston, he did not play. So I could see that being pretty good. And other than that, I like the pick Dyson Daniels over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. That might be my lock for tomorrow. He has hit this line in 3 of his last 5. He had 10, 15, 8, 11, and 13. And of course, he has 4, 3, 4, 2, 5 steals. It's like, this is crazy. Obviously, rebounding, I like Anika Kongwu and Mark Williams for their rebounding lines because both teams are kind of mid, so they're not going to be making everything. But other than that, um, in the NBA, there's nothing else really. I mean, you could take Trae Young over his points or assist. I mean, there's only 4 games tomorrow. That's all I got. So that's all it is for me. So you got anything, Michael?
I'll take a look at the lines tomorrow, but you pretty much nailed them all. I kind of had some similar ones too. So, anyways, I'd just like to wrap up by saying, of course, go check out our TikTok for daily locks every single day. Use our promo codes. I believe yours is like Bears OG 24 or something like that. Mine's like Michael Herman 3428. Use our promo codes in the link in the TikTok, or maybe if Dre puts it in the description, you can find it there too. So yeah, please follow our TikTok, MDafterDark TikTok. We will be placing our underdog locks there every single day for you guys, just like we're posting podcasts now every single day. It's gonna be fun, especially I know by the time this out, the MLB parlay is gonna be out the door, but fun to reflect, I guess, for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nah, if we
yeah,
post
so
this early enough and people watch it, you never
oh,
know.
I get. There's always people that love to stay up late and procrastinate and scroll on their phone. So there's a possibility. It's a school night, but there's a possibility of that happening. Well, it is currently 12:42 a.m. in the morning, so that means that will do it for us today. Thank you for joining into another episode of MD After Dark podcast. Andre Taylor there. I'm Michael Hernan. Thank you, y'all, for joining us on this night, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.